is permanent tax cuts for the middle class. I'm going to fix Social Security so our retirees know that they've got a future after they're finished working. I'm going to relieve the pain at the pump and then secure our border, both at the north and south, because we need to know who's coming and going in our country. So those are the kinds of things, that's a national security issue. And people, everywhere I go, people say, well, Ann, how are you going to do that? How are you going to pay for that? And I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at the overall budget, and we're going to look at what works and what doesn't work. And I'll tell you what is not working. We are spending $280 million a day in Iraq. Now, I come from a very patriotic family. I know many of you have sons and daughters who served. Many of you served yourselves and are veterans. When I was in Sholo, I went to the football game, and I ran into a cousin of mine who had just come back from Iraq. I hadn't seen him since he'd gotten back, and was with his baby who was born while he was there. So, you know, our veterans have done what we asked them to do, and they deserve dignity and respect when they come back to this country. That's what we should be doing. But Iraq has asked us to leave twice. We are spending $280 million a day when they are sitting on oil reserves in excess of $80 billion, and our country has a national deficit of $10 trillion. That's not right, folks. It's time for them to take responsibility for their country. Time for us to invest in our country, including our veterans. The other thing that is not working, our government has been giving contracts to big corporations like Halliburton without making them go through the bidding process. Now, we know that that's the way you keep the price the lowest. And the fact that our government's been doing that tells me that they are not about the taxpayers. They are not about the middle class, because they are just awarding these billion-dollar contracts without going through that screening process. The other thing that is not working, we are giving billions of dollars in tax giveaways to oil companies when they're making record profits. That doesn't make sense. We're paying more at the pump than we've ever paid before. Those companies should not be making those record profits. That should go toward a permanent tax cut for the middle class so we can give relief to our families so they can work one job, not 2 or 3 or 4, to put food on the table, so that they can raise their families with time and energy to go to their volleyball games, their soccer meets, their baseball games, so that they can have health care for their children, and in health care in their communities without having to drive 45 miles one way or the other. So that's the vision I have for this district. That's why I'm running for Congress. I appreciate your support, but we've got to push on. We've got to do everything. We've got to push till it hurts from now until November 4th, because the alternative is just not acceptable for working families. So again, thank you very much.